The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting group. Access Fort Wayne is a department of the Allen County Public Library. If you or anyone you know might be interested in making a television show, please call 260-421-1250.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rudy Cashman. Welcome to our show today. This is going to be very interesting about a subject you hear quite a bit lately, and a lot of us really don't know what it's all about. It's about keto, K-E-T-O. Is it good or bad? A way of eating and metabolism in your body, and I'm going to explain that to you and have with me a guest, Carabel Yellow from Ethiopia, who now attends high school in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and he knows a lot about fasting, which they do a lot in their country, and we're going to speak about that a little bit. And thanks for being on my show today.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And this will be very interesting. First, I'd like to explain to you a little bit about what is keto really all about. What I'm saying is a lot of the show will be based on a book, Eat Rich and Live Long, by Ivory Cummings and Jeffrey Gerber. I encourage you, to me, this book really is the bottom line if you want to get rid of your diabetes or lose weight, because they have the recipes, they have the explanation in there. I think it's a wonderful book, and we'll be quoting from it liberally. And what we're saying, we're facing in this nation, in this world, a pandemic of being overweight and the secondary type 2 diabetes, which is attached to it, 30, 40, 50 serious illness can result in sudden death, dementia, heart attack, strokes, amputations, dislocations, liver transplants, renal transplant. 90% of that can be avoided. And I'm going to teach you today how to avoid it, okay? I mean, it's filling our hospitals, for example, but yet I don't think the medical profession is stepping up to bat and teaching you how to avoid this problem, which I am. You can go to YouTube. I got 1,000 TV shows on there. You can watch them for an hour. You'll know how to do this, okay? So the government, in 1977, the George McGovern Dietary Committee, the guidelines for the U.S., told us to eat a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet. That's what they told us. It was totally wrong. And the American Heart Association, the American Diabetic Association, they promoted that, yes. But the American Heart Association has now said there's no evidence to support the low-fat advice. But you still hear it everywhere. They also said for each 5% of increase of saturated fat that you replace with carbohydrates, okay? Carbohydrates for the fat, so sugary products for the fat, is a 7% increase in heart disease. So you want to get heart disease? Eat carbohydrates, eat sugar, the booger, and the hooker, okay? But they finally admitting it. So in 2015, we have new dietary guidelines of America. They come out every 5 years. And natural foods dropped from the no recommendation list. Now they thought that's a good thing to eat them, okay? And again, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietitians also were pushing the low-fat diet, just the wrong thing. So In terms of energy, fat has 9 calories per gram, carbohydrates and protein 4 grams per 4 calories per gram, just to give you some idea. Okay. The elephant in the room, though, was Ansel Keys from the University of Minnesota, and he promoted the low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet, and the country fell for it. But it was supported by the government. Lobbying was involved. But the whole scam was exposed by Nina Teicholz. Nina Teicholz, who wrote the book, The Big Fat Surprise. I read that book, and it was devastating. So the new dietary guidelines came out in 1977, and they said we should eat a 50 to 60% carbohydrate diet. So it was a wild goose chase. 50 years they told us to eat the wrong food. But then finally the insulin came to the surface. See, actually, Joseph Kraft, K-R-A-F-T, published a book, 2006, based on research, in the 1970s, University of Illinois, and said insulin is the first thing to rise to cause vascular disease and diabetes, and it was sugar that was the problem. Mm-hmm. Read his book, Joseph Kraft. You can see him on YouTube. He exposed the scam, but medicine did not wrap their arms around that, and most people don't even know today who Joseph Kraft is. But if you want to know you got diabetes or not, get the Kraft test, K-R-A-F-T, which is glucose tolerance and serum insulin. You'll catch yourself 15 years on the path to diabetes. Oh my God. I mean, what an opportunity. If you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, you're eating a high-fat diet, you're going to become very sick. What keto is all about is that let me show you a graph. If you eat some sugar, insulin goes straight up, okay? But insulin does a lot of other things. It stiffens the arteries, it causes dementia, it collects sodium in your body, so high blood pressure causes inflammation in your body. Protein, you'll have a response on insulin, but the rise is slow. So there's some rise. But if you eat good fats, insulin level stays right down here. Yeah. So we can take big time advantage of that by eating good fats. And I'll tell you what good fats are. But while I'm on that subject, let me mention a few good ones here. An avocado is full of good fats. It's about 70% fat, but it's a good fat. No insulin rise, okay? Dark chocolate, 65% fat. Especially if there's some cocoa in it, it's a much more healthy. Eggs, full of protein and good fats. Mm-hmm. You say don't eat eggs. Well, they were wrong. That doesn't mean 20. Half a dozen a week, no problem. Oily fish, chia seeds, walnuts, nuts in general, are full of good fats. The good fats are omega-3 fats. Fats make us fat. Why should you eat fats? There are fats in your body. Your brain is 3 pounds of fat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay? Your skin, for example, the membranes that cover your skin are made out of fat. Omega-3, omega-6 fats. They're essential. Your body doesn't make them, so you need to eat some. Okay? Extra virgin olive oil, coconuts, full-fat yogurt, for example. These are good fats. What happens in keto, if you eat few carbohydrates, see, our blood system really has very little sugar in it. Not a lot. It can be used up in energy within hours. In about, you eat 6-8 hours, your sugar's gone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then you're really fasting, till you eat again in the morning, and you go into fat metabolism. What's fat metabolism? That's where, because the sugar's gone low, your insulin level's gone low, your fat cells open up because the insulin level is low, fat is let out. Okay, now get this correctly. Fat is let out, and it goes to the liver and makes ketones. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
It makes ketones. Then they are used for energy. Your brain can function from ketones. Your muscles can function for ketones. So you can use ketones for energy because you've been fasting now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Your sugar essentially gone, and your whole body is running on ketones, which they run on very well because there isn't any ups and downs in the sugar because the sugar is essentially gone. You're full of energy. If you're an athlete and you're running a triathlon or a long race, you got only 2,000 calories of glycogen, carbohydrates in your body. You want to win that race? You got to go into fat metabolism. But when we have only 2,000 calories of glycogen, carbohydrates in our body, but we got 40,000 calories of fat, even in a thin person like you.
Mm-hmm.
To that, incidentally. And 20 to 40,000 calories in fat. So you can keto train an athlete. Takes a week or two, where they eat good fats and not just taking sugar. You know, a lot of athletes think you got to drink the sugar to really run. Well, that helps a little bit, but you're a lot better off to get into fat metabolism, into keto metabolism, because you could run for days. You could run for days. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Most people don't know. Even a thin person, there's fat in the muscles, that we have a lot of fat in our body. So what about a way of eating? And in this book, which I already showed here, that full of good recipes in there, okay? And remember, it takes time to fast,
Mm-hmm.
okay? It's sort of beyond 6-8 hours, and then, you're fasting. If you were to eat only 2 meals a day, so that you're going into keto metabolism, 6-8 hours, last 4 hours, you're into fat metabolism, your fat cells are emptying, you're getting skinnier. You want to get skinny? Go into keto. You see the point? That's the reason you hear about intermittent fasting and fasting. Now, in Ethiopia, which is where you lived originally, right?
Yes.
You said fasting is a lot, in quite a bit in the culture.
It is.
Could you tell me about this a little bit?
Yes, my experience of fasting in Ethiopia was when I was a little boy before I came here,
Mm-hmm.
which was in 2012. And I used to fast because I was in Orthodox Tewahedo Church, which is a Christian church. I was part of that group, and kids my age even fasted, even the longer fasting periods and even the short ones. So there are short fasting periods, which last 15 days or 2 weeks.
How often would you do that?
How often? There is actually total of at least 180 fastings period, like days.
A year?
Yeah, and we fast pretty much every time. And throughout the week, you fast Wednesdays and Fridays. So you don't eat like meat products or any animal products. You stick with plant-like diet.
Plant products. Yeah. 2 days a week or so?
2 days a week, yes.
2 days a week.
Yes.
And that was the Christian church's way. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are 2 months fasting periods as well, which lasts 2 months or 45 days.
So they're leading even more days a week?
Hmm.
How many days a week then?
That one is consistently. So you don't
Every
eat
day?
any. Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't eat any animal products in that time period, which is good for the body because you
Yeah.
get a break from plant-like diets. I mean, animal-like diets.
Yeah, but you have a lot of bad fats in them, omega-6 fats.
Mhm.
Remember I said, good fats are okay, okay? So tell me, how healthy, in this country, probably 70% of people are diabetic. Yeah, 70.
Yeah,
They were
pretty
tested,
much.
right? And you noticed with your eyes
Yes.
that you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Even people who are of normal weight, 20% are diabetic. They need to have their blood tested. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And overweight, not everyone is diabetes, but 80% are diabetic.
Yes.
So tell me now, your visual description of the people in Ethiopia. How healthy are they? How healthy do they look?
Yeah, pretty much. You look around and you don't really see any people overweight, mainly because of their diet,
Yeah.
and they do walk to
Because
places
of their
because there aren't
what
any,
they're eating and they're
and-
fasting and they're exercising.
Yes, and they walk to distances. They don't have cars. Many
Yeah.
people don't have cars, so they walk to the bus station or wherever
Walk to
the
school and back.
transportation. Yes.
So it's a combination of
Yeah, a
things.
combination of everything they do throughout
Yeah.
the day, and that helps them stay healthy and
Yeah.
avoid diabetes and
Yeah.
other diseases.
Yeah. So it's a much different looking country,
Yeah, it's a different lifestyle.
a different lifestyle. So it's a combination of things,
Yes, it is.
undoubtedly. But I just wanted to hear from a different culture because we need to change here.
Yeah.
Exercise is part of it, type of eating, and I do think this book I was speaking about. To me, let me describe to you what I would like to see for people to eat more nutrient-dense way. Say, like have a smoothie in the morning, which would be kale and spinach and some nuts and fresh fruit and a smoothie. A smoothie has still the fiber in it, and you would meet the vitamins, the minerals, the phytochemicals that your body is looking for. So I think having a smoothie every day, to me, is a good way to start the day. And maybe a couple of eggs for some protein, occasionally some healthy turkey. So I'm not saying vegetarian or vegan, but to eat a guacamole and toast, for example, to eat good fats. Then, if we want to go towards keto a bit, to lengthen the period of time to the next meal. If you're in trouble and you've got advanced diabetes or you're way overweight, you know what I like to see? I would like to see that you eat this healthy breakfast we spoke about.
Yeah.
Find out what the good fats are, which we spoke about already, and there are more than that. A lot of good rice, a lot of good recipes in here. So to eat, I like to eat 2 meals a day, frankly. You know what I mean? But you get hungry. You'll be less hungry on a keto diet, incidentally, because insulin is what affects the appetite center of the brain. So if you're not eating a lot of sugar, you're not going to get that hungry. But suppose you are. So use some snacks we talk about, but you can make lunch out of it. But good fats, the omega-3 fats that feed your brain, that feed your skin, that affect your hormones. And then have a huge dinner with some salmon and a salad, maybe some good fats with it. You're going to lose weight like anything. Your type 2 diabetes probably gone 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And the diseases, that go with it. Any other thoughts that you have on fasting?
Yes, and when I say they fast approximately 2 months, they don't go without food for 2 months. Well, they do is from the time they wake up, they don't eat until 3 p.m. or around that time.
So they're
so
fasting.
Every day,
they
just fast about 8 hours. Whenever it depends
no
what
breakfast.
time no breakfast, or the lunch is a little later, as you can tell.
So
it's 3 p.m.
But the 8 last the previous evening.
Yes.
No
and
breakfast. Yeah.
So no breakfast, and you just have a big lunch and a dinner. So what you were talking about, like
exactly
keto.
What you're doing.
Yeah, and
eating 2 meals a day, and you have a long period of time where you're fasting from the evening meal.
Yes.
Almost till 3 in the afternoon. You said.
Yes, and
you're in keto big time.
Yes. Well, when you're
Yeah.
sleeping, you're also fasting because you're
Yeah,
not eating
exactly.
at that
That's the
time.
hours that we were speaking about.
And
Isn't that interesting? I think that exemplifies what we're talking about.
yes.
And as a result, the nation a lot healthier. The hospitals probably are not as full. And a lot of this is just proving my point, isn't it? I'm so glad I have you here. And as an example, your brothers and sisters like you too also?
Yes. Well, they're much younger than me, but
Yeah.
they don't fast right now, but
Yeah.
they might in the future.
Do you start at a certain age, or are they in this country?
I have two sisters here. I
Yeah.
have two stepsisters here, and I have two half siblings and a stepbrother back home. In Ethiopia.
Back home, any difference in how they're looking?
I mean, they look thin. They all look thin, but that doesn't mean they're healthy.
You're right. There are the trophies who look
Yeah.
thin on the outside, but they're fat on the inside.
Yeah, some people
You're
are
smart to figure that out.
Yeah, some people they do have a good diet and they look healthy, and some people have bad diet and they still look thin.
You're right. They're called the trophies, thin on the outside,
but
fat
they
on the
might not-
inside. Fat
yes.
wraps around their organs, the pancreas, and they look very, very interesting. And so let's talk about other weight loss programs a little bit. It must have important systems in it. So it must improve the appetite system, that hunger, for example, and the weight control system, which is controlled largely by insulin and leptin. Leptin is released by the fat cells, so our hormones determine our appetite, and that hormonal system is affected by the type of food. If you're in keto metabolism, the cell releases the fat to forms keto, but the leptin then affects your appetite, turns the appetite down. So people who are in keto, they're not that hungry. They're more satisfied. They don't have the ups and downs because insulin goes up and down. See, when it's down, I'm hungry. So processed food, it's been stripped of all its nutrients, so you keep on eating, keep on eating, because the hormonal signal has been upset.
Yes.
It's kind of
Fast food or any processed food can be addicting because they control the ingredients they put in, and you become addicted to
an
the
industry
salt
controls it through congressional lobbying and Sugar Association, which lobbies a congressman, pays them off, and they vote. It's shameful. And so a successful diet uses fat as the preferred fuel, because the signaling to the brain about appetite is turned on and off. So the key switch depends whether you're burning carbohydrates or fat. If you're eating a high-fat diet and a high-carbohydrate diet, you're going to die young. You're going to die young. And movement makes a difference. I mean, we're on the move. We're burning some calories, but exercise alone will not result your body to health. That's maybe 10, 15, 20%. But if you wanted to exercise your bad eating away, you'd have to be running a marathon every day. So eating less doesn't work. It's a type of food that you're eating. And this is a common thing even today. And I see people for free in the Three Rivers Pharmacy I did this morning. I saw a couple there, and I don't have the final lab test yet, but my eyes tell me they're both diabetic. Yeah, and we don't blame them.
Yeah, it's the system.
I blame our medical system of not educating them younger, and so food is information. You're educating your biome. That's your trillions of bacteria. Did you know what your bacteria that live in your gut? Your friends right now, they're alive.
80 million of them.
Yeah, you got it. And they actually, there's trillions of them.
Trillions.
And they have more DNA that tells your body what you look like, for example, they have more DNA than our human body has. So these guys, regulators, but who's living there depends on what you're eating. Yeah. You're eating bad food, you get bad guys. You're eating good food, you get bacteroides and healthy bacteria, a healthy colon. So insulin is the master regulator. That's the big one. Remember I talked about Dr. Kraft and the Kraft test? That one affects our hypothalamus and regulates our appetite. Glucagon is also made by the pancreas, is the opposite to insulin. One raises the blood sugar and the other one, so it's a yin and yang. One turns it on, one turns it off. Remember I talked about leptin? That's inside the membrane of every fat cell. That helps regulate appetite. And the ghrelin is a hormone made in your stomach. And if you have more ghrelin, you want to eat more. You're hungry. But that's regulated by what you're eating, okay? There's another hormone called GIP, that helps open the cell, just like that's before insulin released by the pancreas. It lets the fat in and out of the fat cell. See, insulin brings sugar to the cell for energy, but it also regulates the door to fat, in or out. So the two are related. The PYY hormone controls appetite, so insulin is increased rapidly if you're eating carbohydrates, okay? Especially in the diabetic or the obese. It can be totally manipulated by diet. And protein will raise the insulin level too, but the reason we're so concerned about insulin is it does many things. Stiffens your arteries, causes dementia, causes vascular disease, causes inflammation, collects sodium in the body for high blood pressure. So, but these things are not influenced by fat. It's done by insulin. So what you eat matters, okay?
It does.
But fat phobia, which many people have, I don't want to eat any fat, it's lunacy. Depends the type of fat. You want omega-3 fats. And so not eating good fat is ridiculous. That's how you get healthy. Most people who have weight problems have a problem with the insulin. If you were to get a serum insulin, then it would be well elevated. So it's a good test. Oh, you're not diabetic. Suppose I'm looking at a patient who weighs 200 pounds. And the nurse, we get a blood sugar, and the nurse says, you're not diabetic. Doesn't mean nothing to me. Then she orders a glucose tolerance test because the patient's overweight, okay? And it could be a woman who weighs 160 who's short, okay? And when we're going to swallow sugar, we get fasting blood sugar, 1 hour, 2 hour, and that's normal. You're not diabetic. Doesn't prove it to me. But if we were to pull it can be at the same time, glucose tolerance test and insulin tolerance test, and they're all normal, then I'd say you're not diabetic. You see my point? Because this insulin tolerance test anticipates the path to diabetes 10, 15 years. We could have an extremely healthy nation if we tested children. Dr. Kraft studied kids aged 3 to 90. He proved it. All these different curves. He proved it. Pediatricians should be checking the kids, not with an HbA1c, which is 30 days of sugar. That has some value. But if you want to really screen them, catch kids on the way to poor health, we're running serum insulin. What we have now is called the MIRS diet, metabolic insulin resistance. In other words, along came what's called a metabolic theory, where we talk about HDL and LDL and belly measurement and high blood pressure, but that's called metabolic syndrome. But that's late in the disease. If we ran serum insulins, we'd be catching them a lot earlier. Okay. What's fructose? If you eat table sugar, it's half regular sugar and half fructose. Fructose doesn't cause increase in insulin level, but it makes fatty liver. And fatty liver leads to chronic disease. We with millions of people who have fatty liver, who will, alcohol does it too, incidentally, who will in the future need liver transplants. Can you imagine how difficult that is versus renal transplants, now liver transplants? And so high carbohydrate diet is a mirror's diet. It's a metabolic insulin resistance. If a patient were to come to the emergency room and they had a heart attack, and they say, "You have diabetes?" They say no. Dr. Kraft would say, "Got to prove it to me." 99% chance they're diabetic, because insulin causes vascular disease. That's the first thing that changes. So what you want to deal with is a low carbohydrate diet and a good fat diet. And so it will have huge effect resolving diabetes and vascular disease. So a low fat, a low carb, higher fat diet enhances aging, appetite control through hormonal control. For example, optimizes the absorption of good fats and vitamins A, D, E, and K, enhances immune function. You're going to resist diseases more if you do that. Decreases inflammation. Remember, you eat a high sugar diet, you increase inflammation. And a good test for that is CRP. CRPs would be elevated. It should be under 1. It increases recovery after exercise if you have no insulin resistance. Okay, and you can do some blood testing to see where you're at by checking your blood sugar and serum insulin before eating, and especially diabetics should check it an hour or two after eating to see the food you're eating, what effects it had on blood sugar and insulin. So I think that's a good thing to do. And also eating correctly, low carb, higher fat, good fats, it increases the power of fasting. Fasting works better, decreases the risk of heart disease, slows aging. As we get older, we tend to develop insulin resistance, and there's going to be less of that, okay? Increase in sexual function if you eat this way. Promotes healthier looking skin. Like a smoker, if you eat a poor diet, your skin, you're going to look older than you are. So smoking will do that because of inflammation. And smokers look 20 years older than they really are. And I've seen it. Also, this way of eating, it promotes healthy skin, nails. Adaptation is the key. And so this is important. How do you deal with people who don't want to change? It's a mindset. It's a mindset. They can be blind to it. But if they have a friend, for example, that's helpful. If there can be a society, Ethiopia, adapt a system of eating better and exercise. And that's what you have in Ethiopia, don't you? A culture of wellness.
It's a religion, and most Christians practice that, and it's recommended that every Christian, Orthodox.
The Daniel plan, and if you read the Bible, and
of course, Muslims or other religion, they might have. Well, I know for a fact Muslims have their own practice.
And Muslims, you say, and we respect all religions here. So,
as far as,
so they have their own system.
Yes, they have a fasting for them.
And the way I see it, that the body, some religions, Christian religions, say that this is a temple, and you need to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
When you are eating a poor diet, you're not respecting the temple.
Mm-hmm.
I can think of a funeral I went to recently where this man died, both legs amputated.
Okay.
And I was speaking to this brother down the line, and I was feeling a little, and I said to myself, he did not respect the temple, did he? When he knew better. Oh, he's with Christ. Well, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did not respect his temple. So I'm saying this to motivate you to change, but I'm not way off in that logic, am I?
No.
This is the temple of God, and you're not respecting it if you're not, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, how many grams of sugar would a person on a keto diet be? I mean, to be deep in keto is 20 grams a day, but the average person, about 120 grams of carbohydrates, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But if you were 50 or under, you'd probably be healthy. If you get a moderate problem, 30 might be better. You gotta have to try it. And Abbott Laboratories has a way of testing a sugar, which instrument you can buy. You can go on the internet, and they will check your sugar and ketones, because this way of eating produces ketones. So you have a ketone count, so you can get your sugar and ketones. And if you're doing this, you ought to get tested periodically, not every day, but maybe once a week. And if it's working real good, then maybe once a month. Be sure to tell your doctor you're going to eat this way, and because you're going to lose weight, you're on medications. Some of those could be stopped. You need to let your doctor know you're eating this way, and so he can reduce the medications as necessary. If you eat this way, you can get rid of high blood pressure pills, diabetic medications, most of the time, a couple of weeks. Insulin maybe a month. So it's important to keep track of that. Incidentally, there's an index called the HOMA index, HOMA index. It measures your insulin sensitivity, okay? And there's an online calculator. So write this down, www.bloodcode.com/HOMA, HOMA, hyphen, insulin resistance, no, just IR/calculator. Like I said, the average person probably would take 120 calories of carbohydrate. Low and big time keto will be 20 or so. I mean, if they're amputating your legs and you're going blind, I guess I'd go big time keto, huh? And if it's, in between, then you can try different methods. And you should know about this insulin resistance, so look at that website. There are some overweight people who have normal insulin sensitivity, so it's good to get that test. There are a few.
Yeah.
And I already mentioned, the meal spacing is important. Spacing is important, because you can go into keto, maybe you don't eat that third meal, you're going to get healthy pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
But if you need to eat some, get some good fat snacks or a good fat meal if you need to. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's take some action steps. Suppose we're speaking like I did today to two diabetics. What should they do? Okay, let's talk about it. Eliminate refined carbohydrates. That seems obvious.
Yes.
Okay, that's processed food. Eliminate refined oils. Oils, 100% fat. You want to gain weight, they're omega-6 fats. And that doesn't mean extra virgin olive oil, but I'm talking about the rest of the plant oils.
Yeah.
They cause a lot of weight gain. They're not good fats. Okay, good ones are olive oil, coconut oil. Okay. Greatly restrict processed food. We talked about that already.
Yeah.
Food through the covering, which would be most fast food restaurants.
And fried food, which
Yeah, and fried food too.
which is used by oil. And
try not to heat things above 212 degrees, I think, something like that. Eat only nutrient-dense food. Nutrient-dense, what are nutrients? They're the vitamins, minerals that give the color to the food. They're nutrient-dense, okay? And eat only nutrient-dense. Protein is helpful too. Remember, protein can rise the insulin level too. How much protein do we need? About 0.4 to 0.6 grams per body pound, per body weight. That's how much protein you need per day. But you can get a lot of the protein from plants. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a meat eater, although I didn't say you couldn't eat any meat.
Yeah, just limit it. And
limited amount.
Just be selective when you're eating.
In Ethiopia, they're selective in the amount.
Yes, that too. And not a lot of people are exposed to a lot of meat. They don't have access to it.
Yeah,
because
and part of the advantage that they have, they don't have access, they can't afford it. And but here it's cheap enough.
Accessible.
You can eat 7 days a week and become very unhealthy pretty darn quickly.
We also don't eat any pork.
I don't eat steaks, pork, lamb. There's a lot of fat in it. A lot of it is not organically raised. It's not healthy for me. Causes inflammation. It has to be cooked at a high heat. So I don't go for it. But get adequate vitamins and minerals. But if you're eating a lot of plants, you're getting most vitamins and minerals. Maybe not all of them. And drink plenty of water. Our body, you believe it or not, our body's 60% water. Jeez, I'm only water. And respect your environment around you. You know what's going on around you. I think that's important. Exercise is about 20% of it. But the best exercise actually is mild weightlifting. Yeah. But I say take a walk. And what I do when I take a walk, I use my right leg. I take 10 reasonable steps with the right leg. Then the next 20, I'm a little faster. And the next 80, I'm going as fast as I can walking, not running. Because running, you're pounding, and that can result in hip pain and knee pain and stuff. So I think walking is a great exercise. Or, you know, if you like to dance, or like me, take tap dance lessons. That makes it even more fun. You know, so I'm a little quicker, faster when I play tennis or pickleball. Don't challenge me in pickleball. You may not like the result. And what's your favorite exercise?
I like to play soccer, so I think
soccer.
Yeah, soccer is fun for me, and I've been playing it, and also ref soccer. So I'm always running around and being active.
Are you refereeing some?
Yes, I usually ref about 6 to 8 games on average per week. So
do you really? Look at this.
Running.
He's the referee 6 to 8 times a week.
Yeah.
To me, to me, that's the best, because having been a neurosurgeon, which I retired from now, but I'm familiar with head injuries, and you get hit in the head a lot in soccer. I'm not too hard on that. Be honest with you, because
it's the technique. So when you're supposed to, when you head the ball, you're supposed to use the hard part of your forehead. And most kids, they probably don't know how to head the ball
do it
properly,
correctly,
and usually hands a little bit on top of their head, and
I hate to tell
causes concussion.
I hate to tell you, if you do this, your brain shakes. That's what head injuries are. The skull is solid, and the brain is a 3-pound piece of fat. You think you get hit 1,000 times, that wouldn't have some effect on your brain? I tell you, it does. We may have an argument about this, but I'm the neurosurgeon here. but I'm a little bit worried about that. You know what I mean?
It is a concern.
So I want you to be the referee. I like that you.
Yeah, we actually do have to watch for. We are required to take a special action when a kid gets a hit in the head.
Yeah.
Somebody blasts the ball and it just hits them in the face.
And they're stunned.
Most kids, they want to be tough and get up,
Yeah.
get back right back,
Yeah.
and get into play. But what they want us to actually do is have a trainer see them and make sure they don't have
They're
concussion.
okay, yeah. But still, I brought the subject up, so we're both. I'll eat the result. But, you know, when I hear different providers and famous lecturers, I went to a session with a famous lecturer, the Grant Wayne, recently, and he really was down on the keto diet. I think he didn't understand it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Did I say eat steak 7 days a week to get to? No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
What I'm really promoting is fasting, just like they do in your
Yeah.
country.
It doesn't have to be intense. You can start off by doing a little bit of, just watch what you eat, be selective of what you're eating, and then as time goes on, you can challenge yourself. And
challenge yourself, and you know, I've gained a bunch of weight over the holidays. You may decide to fast a full day or half a day. Or, to me, the easiest, and I think I'm going to write a book on this. To me, the easiest is to lengthen the time between the meals, because we have a limited amount of sugar in our body. About 4 teaspoonfuls of sugar in our blood. My God, just that much? And in about 6 to 8 hours, it's gone. And then you enter fat metabolism. Your muscles release. Insulin level is down because your sugar is down. Fat cells open up. Leptin lets the fat out, and the fat picks up albumin. That's a protein, albumin. It's transferred to the liver, turned into ketones. The liver lets it back out into the blood system, and that's your energy. Remember, fat is more calories per gram, and this is what you're living your day, and much healthier, because the fat cells open up. You're losing your weight. You're looking good. That's not hard. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think this is just great. And if you need a snack, you know, learn what the good fats are. We talked about it. Avocado, incidentally. I had avocado and dip for lunch. It was my appetizer.
That's good. I love avocados, actually.
Yeah, I had some. I felt like I needed something for lunch, and some dark chocolate with cocoa. Occasionally as a snack, you know. And I had 1 egg for breakfast, along with a smoothie. Hey, I'm on the way, right?
Yeah.
And maybe put some chia seeds in my smoothie, which there were in mine. Okay, and I had a couple of walnuts in there. Hey, I'm getting there, right? And if you needed to put something on a salad, some extra virgin olive oil. And occasionally I'll eat a piece of some coconut cut up, and I found it. I got to find it again. Surround it with a little chocolate and cocoa. A snack. That's my lunch sometimes. It tastes good. It kills my appetite. I gotta find out where I should get more of that. You know, just one piece, a little piece. And then we said full-fat yogurt. Yogurt, you got to read the label, because you can get tricked. You ever see strawberries on there and other things? There's one in my refrigerator right now. And I notice 17 grams of sugar. You must have drank a Coke. Yeah, I'm not going to eat that. And but a regular full-fat yogurt, the sugar may be 6 or 7. Well, you can accept that. It's got good fats in it, and it makes a good snack, or even, you know, to have it for breakfast. So tell me, after you're in high school here, and what year are you now?
I'm a senior, and
Yeah.
I'll be going to IU Bloomington.
IU Bloomington.
Yes.
How
and,
lucky you are,
Yeah.
because that's where I went from New York City, and I went there because I saw a picture of Bloomington, and I saw all those trees, and I'd grown up in a little town in Germany with a lot of trees and things, and I said, that's where I'm going, and I'm so thankful for that university.
Yeah.
And of course, then it was a lot cheaper too, like
Yeah.
$12 a credit.
Wow.
What is it now? 50, 60 bucks.
Yeah. More. Yes.
More, yeah. And state students in those years, $3 a credit hour.
Yeah.
And for anybody to have lived in Indiana and not gone to college, they weren't thinking too good, were they? It was because money was different then. A wonderful. We have a lot of great universities here.
Yes.
So.
And I'm planning to advance my education and going to chiropractic school.
Chiropractic school?
To become a chiropractor.
I like that too. I'm friends with a chiropractor, but, and to learn, and I've written a book with one even, because they're pretty conservative. A lot of them teach nutrition.
Yes.
And proper eating. We
And
doctors ain't doing
stretching.
it. And I know 3 chiropractors that run regular classes on how to get rid of diabetes in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I highly recommend that you learn a lot about nutrition and exercise, which most chiropractors do, but I just want to emphasize it.
Yeah.
Because you'll be the wellness doctor.
Yes.
And that's what I would like you to do.
Yeah, I would like to tie healthy eating and other practices to help.
Healthy eating and to understand about stress.
Yeah.
What does this guy up here do to our body, so that you're looking at people as a whole.
Yeah, not
person.
just focus on the spine.
Not just focus on the spine. You got it. You know it already. Because I even wrote a small book, and I'd like you to get a hold of it. If you don't mind me, I'll give you a free copy.
Yeah, thank you.
Very small. You could read it in a day. It is called Nocebo. Placebo's evil twin. In other words, placebo is I give you a pill and you believe it, about 70% chance it'll work. Nocebo is to take the x-rays, for example, and you see all these little arthritic changes. Then you write a 4-page report, and you go see the doctor, and he says, oh, we got to operate all these little spurs over here. When he never said to you, what's going on in your life?
Yeah.
And when you find out, well, my husband left me, I got 4 kids, and his story goes on and on and on, and all they need is a little massage, a little manipulation, a little education about what the thought process does to their body.
Yes.
You'd be a real chiropractor. No doubt, just like medicine. They got ones too who just, come back every day for a year. Don't be like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have a plan, get them reading things, looking at things, give them a good massage because it makes people, feel better.
It does.
And chiropractic school would be Chicago or
the closest one
Atlanta,
for me is in Chicago, but I'll have to see which one is the best fit for me as far as financially and
my
everything else.
My prediction, you're going to be very good at what you do.
Well, thank you.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I think you're going to be very good.
Yes, I interned Edgewood Chiropractic Center.
Yeah.
Dr. Boingler and Dr. Boggs helped me kind of shadow and observe.
You followed them around.
Yes, and they showed me every step of the way how they treat their patient and how they manipulate their spinal cord and everything. They also have a massage room and stretching. And
stretching and massage.
Personal training.
What you're looking at is the whole body, and this is what I'm trying to teach here, for people to look at their whole body. We're not just our organ. We're not just our heart. We're not just our spine.
Yeah.
All this is interconnected through hormones and neurotransmitters. This thing speaks to the body. That's based on Kenneth Pert's original work, PRT, Molecules of Emotion. Then I wrote a book after that, Welcome to Your Mind, Body.
Yes.
It's a book I wrote about it because she woke me up to it, and as a neurosurgeon, and after I read her book, I became a different kind of a guy. Yeah, it's totally different. And I would teach people how to get to the root of the problem, instead of just a pill or surgery. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To get to the root, then you make a person really well. I think a lot of people are willing to change today. They need information. You know what I mean?
Yes, they do.
In my last book that I wrote, frankly, was on Rudy's War on Diabetes.
I have that book.
And thank you. Yeah, but my bullets are information and love, not real bullets. The information. Most people don't know, and people need to be educated. But people are a lot better looking at the internet and reading books, but significant percent of the people.
Yeah, most people are becoming more aware.
You're becoming more aware.
And they're awake.
But a lot of them are addicted to something, sugar, which is highly addictive.
Yes.
Internet, gambling, marijuana, smoking. Now I'm concerned about the youth and the young people in the amount that is smoking cigarettes and now marijuana, and a good chance they become drug addicts in the future, and their life is ruined. Find other ways to relax, maybe meditation, maybe deep breathing, maybe exercise. Stress affects all of us. I mean,
it does.
You just look at this coronavirus now, speaking about, which concerns all of us. But the people who have a lot of illnesses to begin with, or a bit older like myself, but the ones who have significant illness to begin with, they're the ones much more likely to come down with this. So something to remember. We'll appreciate you, Carol, for you to come to the show today.
Yeah, thank you
and
for having me.
I wish you good luck. Maybe we can do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd love to have you here, assuming I've been here 15 years. When you're experiencing chiropractic.
Yes.
I would be, hey, this is what I'm experiencing every day, to come back and do another show. I would love that. You're going to do well.
Thank you.
Keep on smiling and learn about, maybe look at my YouTube shows.
Yes.
You can look at Rudy Cashman YouTube, 1,000 TV shows at least going back 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Now it's on the radio belt, 95.6. Now I've got classes going too into the city with a lot of diabetes. The neighborhood health clinic at Dr. Coates' office at the Improv Center, where I'm teaching people how to prevent, stop, reverse diabetes. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate you trying to inform the people that are out there.
I have another high school student on next week. So I love it that the young people are getting involved.
Yes.
And thanks for watching our show. Be a little careful with the virus out there, okay? Wash your hands, wash your contacts. And if you're not healthy, especially be careful, okay? And people are shaking hands like this, but I try another way. Namaste, namaste. That'd be the new way for us to be shaking hands. What do you think? Is that pretty good? So namaste to you.
Namaste.
For make us more mindful. We love you. Thanks for watching. And I hope you've learned something about keto. And you realize now, hey, depends how you use it. It's actually good. Bye-bye.